around 6 AM and let's crack on. Because last week was a harder run. Backing it off this week. Just going time, not going for a set pace, and just building on what we had gained from last week. Great morning, perfect weather, and can't complain too much. About 2k in, feel pretty good. Bit tired from the week of training. Legs are a bit heavy. That's why we're running a bit slower this weekend. One thing that gets me with social media is that everyone's so comfortable when they're doing their long runs. I don't know if it's just me. It takes me a good 20 minutes to start getting comfy, regardless of the effort. I could be doing 6-minute kilometers. I still find uncomfortable. That's why the warm-up is so important. And coming up to the 20-minute mark, starting to settle in now. Feels pretty good. Biggest thing I think I've seen with social media is everyone always shows their long runs, and the most common comments I see is sweating. I don't think that's a good indication if someone's going hard, if someone's going long. All you can do is take their word for it, and hopefully they're telling the truth. So right now I'm holding low 5-minute kilometers and breathing relatively heavy, whereas last week I was holding 4:30 to low 4s and it felt pretty easy. You had to cross the road, but I'm gonna start filming all my long runs and sort of outlining what I'm doing. So last week was 1 hour at a 4:30 pace, and then 30 minutes easy. We covered around 17k. Sorry, 15 minutes easy. After the hour hard, I covered around 17k. So it was a good hit up. Whereas this week running more easy. As we progress into this phase for Hyrox, the biggest thing we're going to be focusing on is intensity and trying to match our race pace or race pace goal with most of our runs being the compromise run sessions that we do and the long runs. So how we're going to do it with the compromise runs is slowly build the volume and intensity in those single sessions. So for example, pairing a hard run at 600 meters to 1200 meters based on where we are in training, and then from there hitting that roughly 410 to 430 per kilometer for the pacing. How we're going to pair that with the long runs is having that pace similar to what we're doing today, being that low 5 pace, and then having a couple K where it's around that 430 to closer to 5 pace. So we can get used to running on those tired legs and then having that specific feeling as per the race. The biggest thing that I'm going to talk about over the next couple of runs is the volume versus intensity from my perspective and my opinion leading into Hyrox. I think a lot of people can get mixed up with how much volume is needed for Hyrox versus the amount of intensity that is required versus grinding through a session. So I think all those areas get targeted, but not in the right percentage based on your training week. I think it can be a bit skewed with more volume and more grinding versus quality intensity. Coming up to 8k, still in control, heart rate sitting, I'll slow down, zone 3, so pretty happy with that. Still holding around that 5:10 pace. If you've been following for a while, my running has improved quite a bit, especially paces on the long run. But pretty exciting. I'm keen to see where I can get it, especially leading into the miler. Be all good signs this early, especially in the Hyrox. And then what I mean by, the volume, intensity, and grinding through the session, I do think they're all important, and in specific doses through your training week, you do need to have the ability to grind it out, hold high heart rate, and regardless of the effort that you're doing. But I do think if you haven't got the volume and you haven't trained the intensity, being quality intensity, even if it's starting at 10 to 15 minutes early in your training, having the ability to hold the work effort through that 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes duration as your training progresses is more important than just grinding a session out with no intent or execution. So I think you have to definitely target those areas in different ways and progress them at different times. But I think the quality intensity does get pushed to the left, and Hyrox is very focused on high volume grinding sessions and not focusing on that quality intensity. In the back end of the run, last 4k I've been sub 5, feeling pretty good. Roughly 3k to go. That's just my observation and my opinion. Obviously everyone trains their athletes differently, everyone has their opinion on how to train someone. This is just my observation and my opinion from all the research that I have been doing in and around Hyrox and having a few athletes complete their own Hyrox over the last couple of races. Faster than I thought. However, it did feel pretty good. Body did get a bit sore towards the end. And but the coolest thing was, even though my legs were starting to get heavy, I was able to keep pushing through. Heart rate didn't change too much even when I was pushing those sub 5Ks. So that can simulate, that heavy leg feeling in Hyrox, and then leading into the miler, handling that fatigue. Alright, so you're going to start building that foundation here. So the rough mileage I'm at the moment, this will put me over 60k for a week. So I want to hold that for a couple of weeks, and then from there keep building. So when it comes time to actually push into that miler prep, I've got a strong foundation and have a good base to build from. Pushing towards 100k a week, and then adding in the elevation. So good run, pretty happy with that, and get some more training for the day.